Greetings and welcome to my fat ass kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some corned beef and cabbage. I'm also going to be using some onion, a little bit of celery, a little bit of carrots, and potatoes. Can't have corned beef without potatoes. Now I got me this nice about 4-pound corned beef. Ooh. Yeah. Don't want that getting on the floor. Yeah. Alright. Just grab a hold of this thing and pull it right out. Ooh. That almost looks like raspberry jelly. Take it something right here in the pan. Feels like raspberry jelly too. Now when it comes to seasoning, I will be using the seasoning that came with it in the package, plus some other seasonings that I'll probably add, like some New Orleans seasoning or something just to make it a little more spicy. Don't want it tasting bland now. Alright. Now that that's in there, because it is such a typically tougher cut of meat, you're going to want to cook it at a low temperature for a long period of time. So I generally stick it in at 200 for about 6 hours, give or take, depending on the internal temperature. But I generally prepare everything, just throw it in the pan and throw it in the oven, so that way I ain't got to worry about it. And I use red potatoes because, well, with stuff like this, the least amount of preparation generally makes things work better. At least for me. And I prefer to use red potatoes because you lose so much nutrients when you cut the skins off. About half a bag, about 2.5, 3 pounds. Got to make sure you wash them really good because you're not cutting the skins off. Alright, now that most of my vegetables are washed, I'm going to cut up my potatoes and do them in relatively large chunks because, well, I'm going to be cooking for a long time and I just don't feel like checking on them. And see, that's why you want to inspect, so that way you get that, because of that marker there that was on the outside, all sorts of nasty in there. We're going to have to cut that out. Don't want to get sick or anything. You also want to inspect it after you cut it, just in case. There might be some pieces on the inside you miss. I know it's happened a couple of times to me where you get a potato that looks particularly good, but it's actually somewhat rotten on the inside, like this one here. Just looking from the outside, you wouldn't expect it, but it was actually bad. Well, you always want to constantly inspect, so that way you're not serving bad food. I mean, if your diners are happy, that means you're a good cook. Good food has always made happy people. No matter what circumstances you're in, just seems to be natural. And just because you can follow a book and do instructions doesn't mean you're a good cook. It just means you're good at following instructions. It's like if anybody asks me, are you a chef? No, I'm not a chef. I'm a cook. Did not go to school for it. I do not do it professionally. It's just a hobby and something to keep myself preoccupied. That's about it. Yeah, see, this one started, so I'm going to want to cut that out. Alright, now move on to the carrots. Cut a little bit of our celery that we got left. Pretty much just leftover celery. Didn't want to go to waste, so here I'm using it on my corned beef and cabbage. I'll also be using some rutabaga and onions as well. Stick that celery right on top. Take this seasoning and throw it on top. Alright. Cut up some onions. want any portion of the onions that are bad, so I'll pull those out. Most of the onion's still good, so. Plus I got the second onion. Now the onions, the celery, and the carrots, I'm chopping thin. So that way they pretty much become translucent and disappear. So that way pretty much all that'll be left is flavor. Wow. I don't need that second onion. Alright. Now to peel off the top couple layers of cabbage. Alright, that'll be good. And after all this is said and done, we take some aluminum foil over the top. Throw it in the oven. Then after a few hours it should be done. Try to take some of these leaves and see if I can make a little blanket over top. Not quite a complete blanket, but big enough. Now comes the fun part. Cut the rutabaga in half, peeling it, and then cutting it again. And once the corned beef and cabbage is done, come back, I'll give you a shot, see how she looks, separate it from the vegetables, and see you then. Alright, it smells about done, so I'm going to pull it out. Check the temperature. Yep, those do smell done alright. Oh, look at all that pretty stained. Alright, don't think I could have done that any more perfect than it already is. As you can see, the temperature reads between 190 and 200. That's about where you want it. And that has been another episode of my fat ass kitchen. Thank you, and I hope to welcome you again sometime later.